Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the RE panel. My name is Melody, and I am a Toronto based real estate agent with Forest Hill, and I am here today with Elise, Mike, and Devor. On today's episode, the topic will be a bit of a sensitive one, but with the intention of continuing to offer transparency in the real estate industry. And therefore, we also encourage any comments or questions below. Today, we will discuss real estate red flags and things to consider when working with a real estate agent. Before I pass it to the amazing panel to discuss further, I just wanted to quickly remind everyone that all realtors in Ontario must be licensed with RECO to trade in real estate. Now, RECO stands for the Real Estate Council of Ontario. And this is really important because it is an administrative authority that regulates the conduct of real estate salespeople, brokers, and brokerages. But with this being said, unfortunately, in all industries, you will find some bad apples. So now let's take a deep dive, Mike, and could you please let us know some realtor red flags?
All right, Melody, thank you. I'm Mike Chris, by the way, from Royal LePage in Halton Hills, Meadowtown. So, Mel, I'm really pleased. I know that you've mentioned this is sensitive, but I'm really pleased we're covering this topic. And, I think I can safely say for all of us that we're of the opinion that most realtors, they're good, right? I mean, and I think many are great. But as you've indicated, I mean, this, like any industry, there are going to be some that are going to cut some corners. And, let's focus on some red flags then, Melody. So, I think from a red flag standpoint, if your real estate agent doesn't answer your questions, that's a red flag. And, I think one of the traits that makes a quality realtor is that we're a good listener, and good listeners respond. So, that's a key one for sure. If your real estate agent evades issues that you might have, it's an issue, and clients need to be the priority for the agent at all times. Your real estate agent doesn't give you an overall picture of the properties that you're considering, risks and all. And our job, as you guys know, is to protect our clients' best interests at all times. And we need to ensure that that any risk that might materialize, that we've kind of identified them for them. There can't be any surprises. Our objective is to make their experience as stress-free as possible. And if your real estate agent is quick to make a transaction and appears impatient, successful realtors build relationships. They're not transactional. And for us, our business is really built on exceeding expectations of our clients. And, with that, one of the positive outcomes of that for us certainly is future business and referrals. But really what we're trying to build, guys, is raving fans. And if your real estate agent isn't transparent with you, that is a total red flag. The foundation of our relationship needs to be based on honesty and trust. And that's full stop. So in summary, Melody, I mean, if you're looking for an agent, you're looking for one that's responsive, you're looking for one that's a good listener, transparent, and definitely is trustworthy.
So amazing, Mike. Thank you so much for providing this insight. And so for any real estate transaction in any market, we recommend to keep these important points in mind. So Elise, if you can help me with the next, with a couple more suggestions, may you please share some more suggestions with our audience on how best to protect themselves?
Melody, thank you. Of course I can. So my name is Elise Balmeister, and I work in the Waterloo region with Red and White Realty. So I've been working with a lot of buyer clients lately, and I've been working with some clients who are looking to purchase properties in another province, so referring them over to other agents. One thing I'm noticing with realtors is that, some are super, super busy and others, may have a little more time on their hands. I find that sometimes some things do get missed, and it's not because it's a bad realtor or someone not doing their job. I think just, they've gotten in a way of doing things. So it's important for clients also to know that in anything that you do in your life, you should always be reading these documents and not signing anything until you fully understand what you're reading. So yes, the real estate agent should be taking initiative and saying, hey, let's hop on a Zoom call, or I'm going to come to your house. We'll sit outside. I'm going to go through these documents with you. I'm going to read it, maybe not word for word, but help you understand all of the clauses and conditions that I've added in. But not all people do that, or maybe they'll send the agreement over and say, if you have questions, give me a call. Everyone works a little bit differently. It's your job to know what you're signing before you sign a document. And always ask questions. Don't just nod and say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. If the title search clause doesn't make sense, explain it to me like I'm 5. So always, always, always be asking questions. You can ask your agent for references as well too. You don't have to do everything on your own. So if you want to get a home inspection, you don't have to just turn to Google. We can be a host of information. So ask your real estate agent if they've used somebody in the past, or if a family member's used someone in the past, or if they have some referrals that they can send out. You can also ask, once you've sent in your offer, to see a confirmation that your offer has been registered. So you can find a lot of this information on the RECO website, and it's open to the public for you to go on and take a peek and know your rights. Make sure, most importantly, that you get to know the real estate agent that you're working with before you sign that buyer representation agreement or listing representation agreement. Make sure that it's a good fit and that you guys get along, because you're really going to spend a lot of time with that person. And if you guys don't jive right off the hop, then there's a lot of real estate agents out there. They can make a referral. There's no hard feelings. It is what it is. We want to get along with you as much as you want to get along with us. It has to be a very organic relationship. So just make sure that you do your due diligence and know that there are lots of real estate agents out there, and there are lots of different types of people, and you should do your homework and make sure that it's a good fit before you go and sign the documentation. So thanks, Melody. That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Elise. That's great advice. And I hope our audience is feeling even more empowered and better prepared to face the real estate market. And even if it is their first time. But let's say something just doesn't feel right to somebody, and they want to know how they can get in touch with someone to speak about this. So Devor, could you please let us know what they can do and who they can speak to turn to for help?
Yes, thanks, Melody. And to expand on what Elise just mentioned, there's really, I'm having a hard time believing that any agent will go and just deliberately do anything to first of all jeopardize their client relationship, and ultimately to jeopardize their livelihood, because they are facing, if faced by a disciplinary commission, then they face losing their license and consequently their livelihood. So I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to deliberately do that. It's just bizarre to me to even think that. Now, but if something happens, it's usually it just happens because of the lack of information or lack of sharing information, and misunderstandings do happen. And sometimes there's a lack of training as well, which is what we get throughout our schooling in the process of becoming a real estate agent, and throughout our career as real estate agents. There's always catch-up courses and refresher courses that we get through our real estate boards. I've just finished a couple through my board, so I'm freshly trained up. So what I would do, and what I would suggest, is you work up the pyramid. So you would obviously bring up your concerns to your agent, because that's your first person that you're in contact with. Just tell them, that doesn't really sound good to me, or I'm not really sure about that. Can you explain this? Communication. Like Mike said, we're in relationship building. This is not a transaction. This is an emotional process. You're buying a house, you're selling a home. There's, it's a family thing. So we as agents need to communicate clearly and effectively between each other and with our clients. So communicating with your clients in that matter provides more information to them. They might be okay with whatever it is that you provide. If they're not, they can bring it up to your broker of record, being the managing kind of person of the brokerage. They need to follow REBA 2000 legislation, not Reba McEntire, not the country singer, but the Real Estate
Good way to remember it.
Broker Act of 2002 that governs us as professionals. We all have to follow that. This is a heavily legislated and regulated industry that we're in. So there is regulations that we have to follow. And the broker, being the managing director of the business, which is the brokerage, would like the customer service to be on the level. So he or she would want best for their clients. So they would work really hard to resolve the issue, whatever issue there is. If, however, you're still not satisfied, you can always go to RECO, which is the enforcement body of the which is the Real Estate Council of Ontario, and they enforce REBA under 2002 legislation and make sure that all of us within the industry follow the rules. So you can go through the complaint process, even though you're not really sure what it is. I mean, you can still file a complaint, and they have a full organization of people dedicating to sorting that out and finding out what's wrong and who made a mistake and what the mistake is. I mean, again, I cannot stress enough, it's a heavily regulated and legislated industry. So, I mean, everything needs to be above board. That's why we go through such a rigorous process of getting trained and registered. And, you know, we have all these regulations that we need to follow. So, I mean, you know, it rarely does happen, but I mean, it does happen sometimes. We cannot, you know, just, you know, close our eyes to it. It does happen. And in my personal opinion, it is mostly due to misinformation or lack of information being shared. So yeah, there's definitely a course of action that the client can follow to remedy the situation and to their best interest. And I suggest they do that. And every properly trained real estate agent and the broker will assist them in that process.
Amazing. Perfect. And wow, thank you so much to the panel today for offering so much guidance and advice. As you mentioned in the beginning of this video, our aim is to provide as much transparency in the industry as possible so that everyone has an equal opportunity. And as we say, so that there is a fair and equal playing field for every transaction. So thank you so much to everybody for watching this video today, and we look forward to discussing and sharing another important real estate topic soon. Bye.